We are joined today by Larissa of UK-based death metal band Venom Prison. How are you doing today, Larissa?
I'm doing good. Just came back from a tour with Suicide Silence and Deez Nuts.
That is incredible. Number one, the combination of the bands on that tour, and uh,
Yeah, it was like, because when it was announced that these nights we're joining the tour, I was like, oh my god, this is so random. Like all the three bands together is just so random, but it was really cool.
I saw Deez Nuts once. It was actually a great show. I bought one of their shirts and then got home and realized I would never wear it anywhere.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get one as well. Cause I was like...
It might be more fun if you were to wear it. It's slightly more ironic, I guess.
That's true.
Um,
Yeah, but
but
the guys were really good live. They were like they're really groovy, and I really enjoyed watching them every day.
So I got to ask you that's incredible. Number one, because Deez Nuts is a hilarious band, but number two, because Suicide Silence has to be one of the biggest bands in modern metal. How did that tour come about?
I know they were supposed to be touring with Caliban from Germany, and the tour was supposed to be last year in November, and it was cancelled. And so they rescheduled for March, and we were just asked if we were free, and we were, luckily.
That is very fortuitous. How did the crowd react to that bill? How do you think that they dug you guys as well as the other bands on the tour?
I think everyone pretty much liked it. I know maybe These Nuts is not everyone's favorite, but I think if you just watch them live, you just open up to them. And we were opening the bill, and I think we got a really good reaction on that tour.
That's awesome. It's not really, I guess, similar because Venom Prison is very much a death metal band, but you yourself used to be, I guess, closer to the hardcore scene with your previous band, Wolf Down. Did you feel the urge to maybe get in the pit, do some spin kicks?
um, I kind of was, but sometimes I feel I'm just too old for that at the moment. I'm 27 now, and I feel so old.
Yeah, I knew it was time to stop when I got winded after the first song moshing, so I definitely understand how that feels.
I'm pushing 30 and fully planning on moshing tonight. That's it's a big deal for me.
Are you gonna go to a show tonight?
Yeah. Power Trip and Iron Age are playing, and I'm just beyond stoked.
Oh, that's amazing. Power Trip are great live.
They really are. I got to ask you. You left Wolf Down a couple of years ago, and did you start Venom Prison immediately afterwards?
It wasn't immediately because when I left Wolfdown and went to uni, I kind of wanted to just let go of all the music stuff. But like after 2 months or so, I was just really bored, and that's when we started writing some Venom Prison songs with Ash, who plays guitar, and it was just the two of us first. And when we've written, I think 5 songs, we just ask other people to join us so we can be a band.
Was it
That's awesome.
difficult to make the transition from hardcore into death metal?
Um, it wasn't difficult. It was just really different because if you listen to our demo, it's still like very hardcore, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
And I think we just developed from there because we all love metal and we all love hardcore as well. So you can hear like even in our new stuff, hardcore is still a big influence. And we just kind of wanted to combine the things we love.
Right on, right on. That demo that you're referring to, which one is that? Is that Defy the Tyrant?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's awesome. I was actually listening to that just this morning, and I noticed that on the second track, that their Life Suffer, you've got a sample of In Heaven, most famously the woman in the radiator scene from Eraserhead. Are you a big David Lynch fan?
I like his movies, but Ash was the one who picked that one exactly because he loves all the old fucked up films.
He's extremely fucked up. Yes. the
Funnily enough, because I'm still in uni, and sometimes they show movies, and Eraserhead was one of them they showed in like my uni, which I thought was a bit weird, but really cool as well.
what are you studying?
I'm doing graphic communication.
Right on. Speaking of which, the your newest record, Animus, the album cover of that is fucking awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, sure. When we recorded the album, we wanted to have a strong image to go with it, and so we asked Eliran Kantor. I don't really know if I pronounced his name right because he's from Israel but lives in Germany, and I'm so bad with names. And he's one of my favorite artists. He's done artworks for Testament. He's done the latest Hatebreed, I believe, as well, and Incantation. And I love all of his stuff. So I messaged him if he was available, and told him, like, I've sent him all the lyrics and everything that he wanted to know, and he was inspired by that one song, which is Perpetrator Emasculation, and he came up with the concept for the artwork. And when he sent it back to us, I was in love with it because I thought it completely agrees with what the record is about.
That is awesome. For listeners that can't see the album cover, this is a very well done painting of women force feeding the genitals of a rapist back to him. It's extremely rad. So that's from the inspired by the song. You said perpetrator emasculation. What did you want to communicate through that song and through this record overall?
For that song especially, I just personally know so many people, female or male, that have experienced rape, and I personally have experienced like things like that in the past as well, and I just wanted to give a massive fuck you to every rapist and creepy person, and just take back the power and just not being victimized.
That's rad. It certainly seems like it's endemic that the institutions all throughout the world are willing to just completely disregard any instance of sexual abuse victims. And why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think it's just a topic that people don't really like to talk about because it's so private and it's so destructive, and it's weird to talk about if you like think about it. Like, no one really wants to really, like, I don't know. Do you want to really know how things like that happen? Because it's a really horrible thing, and I think we just need to learn to understand that things like that happen every day to so many people, and that if we talk about it, that things like that can change and maybe stop, and like rape culture is a real thing.
It certainly is, and you I mean you kind of exist. Your band exists within a culture of death metal that is certainly not shy about indulging in horrific instances of misogyny and sexual violence in lyrics. How do you feel that your music it stands in contrast to that?
Because I'm female and I experience all the hate and violence against women, especially in metal, like firsthand, basically. I think I kind of have to give something back and say you can't just do that, because I don't want to be victimized and just hated just for who I am. Because when we first released the song, and I think Metal Hammer posted it on their Facebook, people were just posting and giving us shit and calling us like Tumblr feminists and stuff like that. And you can see that this is purely because there is a female involved in something that turns things around, because on that record we basically turned the tables, and this is something people don't really like to see, because it's okay if a guy sings about raping a woman, but it's for some reason not okay if a woman sings about castrating a rapist. And I think this is something we really need at the moment, just to progress and to emancipate metal music.
It seems like you're certainly touching a nerve, just judging by the reactions that you're getting out of some of these, I guess, more knuckle dragger types. In getting them to confront this within their own scene, do you feel like this is a stepping stone to maybe righting some wrongs that have existed within the culture for a long while?
Oh yeah, I would definitely agree on that. And like, women are a really big part of metal music, like as fans, as people who act in labels, who put on shows, and we just need to accept women in metal just like we accept men in metal, and just be open-minded about everything.
I guess to shift the conversation slightly. You just finished up this great tour in the UK. Have you ever been to the US? Do you have any upcoming plans to tour the US?
I've never been to America, but we would love to go, and we might be coming over this year in autumn, maybe like September, October time.
Any places you're specifically looking to visit if you come over here?
Oh God, there's just so much to see and so many great places to play. I would just like basically to do an all over tour. But I think we would only do 3 weeks, which is not enough to cover all of America.
I was just talking to 365 before our call about how long it takes just to drive across Texas. It's a full day at least.
Well, that's just mental.
There's a whole lot of nothing along the way. I feel like, unfortunately, this is a strange time to try to travel to the U.S. or vice versa. Actually, I don't think anybody saw our current immigration debacle coming, and it seems like the UK has giant problems of its own with Brexit. What is your take on, I guess, what you see in your country is shutting down of the borders to anyone that wants to come in?
It's a little bit depressing, because I'm from Germany. I've only been living in the UK for 2 years, and I just don't know what's going to happen. Like, do I have to move away as well? Do I have to go back to Germany or the European Union? And it's just, no one really knows what's going on. And I feel like it's a big mistake.
I think we have similar sentiments about our own country.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in America at the moment as well.
There is. I don't understand the current rise of, I don't know if you want to call it nationalism or what I would probably call fascism across what seems like the world right now. I don't. Do you have any thoughts on it? How do you think that things got this way?
I agree with you that there is a big rise of fascism or right-wing politics all over the world at the moment. I think people are just desperate because everything's like going to shit, and you just need to blame someone. And refugees and immigrants are usually a good scapegoat for people, like we've seen in the past. Um, I think people just don't know what to do and they just go for the easy answers, like for the parties that give you the easy answers to difficult problems. And I feel like we just there's just so much education that needs to happen, but it's just not happening. Do you know what I mean?
I do. Do you see, I don't know, any kind of possible light at the end of the tunnel? If so, what do you think it might be?
I don't really know. I think no, I don't know. I don't really see any positive things coming from that at the moment. Maybe if something just turns around and people realize what big things they've done and what kind of big mistakes happened because they voted for someone who is an absolute dickhead, and maybe then vote for someone else next time.
I think at least for where I am in the Northeast of the United States, it's been encouraging. There's been a lot more of a vocal resistance. I think a lot more people are politically interested and activated now that things have turned out the way they have. And just yesterday in this country, the Trump care, they're trying to repeal Obamacare was, didn't even get to a vote because so many people were vocal about it. So I think if there's any sort of light at the end of the tunnel, I mean, there's still people that care.
I think there's a lot of people that care at the moment because they see that things are changing for the worse, and that's why, especially in America, so many people just go out on the streets and protest, which is a really good thing, in my opinion, because you kind of need to get out there and raise your voice and stand up for yourself.
Yeah, as you said, you immigrated from Germany to England, and the current fear, I guess, of immigration in general uh, definitely holds a place in German history. Um, do you think that there's any way that, I don't know, we can? It seems rather obvious, but learn from recent history about maybe demonizing somebody that's a different faith or a different color?
I definitely think a lot of people have learned from the history, but on the other side, there's just the people that are scared of the changes and just don't get other cultures at all. They, it feels like they will never understand, but like especially in Germany at the moment as well, there's so many people that are welcoming refugees and just do so much for those people and get a lot of respect from them back and a lot of love from the people they help back. But on the other side, you get a lot of people that just don't want refugees in Germany and just set settlements on fire, for example, and go and protest against having those people in Germany. And it feels like there's like a big fight coming along at the moment, and I just really don't know how things are going to progress and how they're going to change.
Well, I guess it starts with education, but we all
Yeah,
need
I
to
think
make an effort that way.
yeah, definitely. Like people always think that a revolution is held by weapons, but that's bullshit. All you need is education.
I agree with that. I guess to switch the topic slightly, I was listening to your latest record, and I'm just kind of blown away by how brutal your vocals are. Um, who were your I guess the people that you were trying to emulate at first when you were learning to do this?
I don't really have anyone that I tried to sound like, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
When I started just playing in bands, I think that was about like 10 years ago when I was 17. I joined a crust punk band, and ever since I was listening to music, I just wanted to be part of a band and just just give music something back because I just really loved music, and I couldn't play guitar, I couldn't play bass. All I could do is sing. So I joined that band, and ever since I just did my thing, and I guess I just progressed with time because at the moment my vocal range is a lot different than it was 10 years ago, and it's a lot different to what I did in Wolfdown as well.
Yeah, that's really noticeable, but in a good way. I mean, like your voice very much suits this music.
Thank you.
What are your big plans? I mean, you just put out a record late last year. You're killing it touring with big bands. Are you busy with school right now, or are you still working on new music?
A little bit of both. Since we released Animus, we just didn't stop because we went on tour with Trap Them on the day it was released. The tour was amazing. Occultocracy from Norway were touring with us, and I just fell in love with that band. We played some festivals. We have a lot of festivals booked this summer, and some tours as well coming up, which I can't really tell who with. And we're writing new material at the moment as well because we would like to release something as soon as possible. And we also, like, some of us have full-time jobs, some of us go to uni, and I'm absolutely stressed with assignments at the moment. And it didn't help that I just went away for a week and just didn't do anything. So next week I have 4 days to finish an assignment, and I just gotta go for it.
I think
Well, you
you're
could
the,
always have your professors contact us, and we could write a note for you to try to get an extension on your assignments.
I will let them know. I'll give them your email address.
you're probably the envy of like every college student listening to this right now. They're like, crap, I just played Xbox on my summer vacation. I didn't go tour huge festivals, play with Suicide Silence. Yeah, it sounds like you're doing pretty cool things with your life.
Yeah, I really enjoy it, and without the stress, it's just not as fun anymore, I guess.
So, as we've been talking with you, I keep looking at my phone because some creepy weirdo is messaging the Toilet of Hell Facebook page with cryptic, mean messages. Um, and we're, you know, white dudes. Uh, do you get this? Do you get hateful messages to your page as well?
Actually, there's never really been hateful messages like directly to our Facebook or Twitter or whatever. The only thing I could ever read was on other platforms like Metal Hammer or just someone else's Twitter. But people never told me into my face what they say on the internet.
That is, I guess, not surprising. The internet troll is loud and lacking in testicular fortitude.
Yeah, you can even see it on, like, if you look at Suicide Silence's Facebook at the moment, you can see like how much hate they're getting, but I haven't seen anyone on that tour coming up to them and saying that into their face.
I have to imagine the kind of person that's just, liable or likely to talk a whole lot of shit on that band is also not going to pay, money to go see them on tour. It's two entirely separate classes of people. Folks that are just mad online and folks that want to go see their favorite band.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think a lot of those people just like don't even go to shows.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. Thinking about some of the internet dorks I've known in my life, they don't really leave the house.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Maybe something about loneliness leads to like frustration and anger.
That sounds about right.
And also, you're less likely to get punched in the face if you're just talking to somebody across Facebook, as opposed to real life.
Never underestimate someone driving hours to punch someone in the face because they said something online.
That sounds like it would be the worst punch you could ever experience.
I do recall now, there was some guy, it was on Christmas a couple of years ago. These two guys were arguing about a basketball player on Twitter. On Christmas Day, one guy drove, I think it was 6 hours, to meet the other guy in a parking lot to fight him.
That should be a TV show. That sounds amazing.
I would watch the hell out of it.
That's amazing. It could work a bit like Catfish, the TV show.
Oh, To Catch a Troll.
Yeah.
I think that's a dynamite idea. If the band doesn't work out, you need to start pitching this to networks.
I'll get in touch with MTV pretty soon, I think.
Is there anything you miss from the hardcore scene that you don't really see in the metal scene anymore?
I think it would be the mosh. Because if hardcore kids are excited about a mosh part, they just don't give a fuck and destroy everything. And that's something you don't see in metal that much. But I have to admit, I also enjoy just playing a show to people who stand around and just bang their head.
Which smells worse, in your opinion, the punk scene or the metal scene?
The punk scene, even though not anymore, because all the punks are using like all those smelly Lush products, so they smell really nice.
Times have changed.
Yeah.
See, if the punk scene can do better, the average man can as well. It's we can get better haircuts, smell nicer, and be nicer to people on the internet.
Yeah, that sounds like a nice world.
Anything else that you want our knuckleheads to learn?
I really want to say that the new Suicide Silence songs sound pretty heavy life. Just go and check them out when they're on tour.
There you go, folks. Thanks so much for talking with us today.
Thank you, guys. I really enjoyed talking to you as well.
Thanks so much to Larissa from Venom Prison for coming and talking to us. Be sure to stay up to date with those guys on Facebook, and don't forget to stay up to date with us on Facebook, and Twitter, and LinkedIn, and MySpace, and Adult Friend Finder.
And Zanga. Don't forget your Zanga.
Zanga. It's all toiled of hell.